All right, guys. We've talked about 700 years worth of history in this class. And the very last thing I want to talk to you about is how the Soviet Union collapsed and the Cold War ended. Um, as you know, the Soviet Union is made up of not only Russia, but also many Eastern European countries such as Belarus, Ukraine, you got Romania, and some others there. Uh, and one of the main reasons, I would say the most important reason why the Soviet Union collapsed was number one, they spent a massive amount of money trying to win this space race and the arms race. Uh, they were spending billions and billions of dollars on these different events, and they could not keep their economy going while spending that much on a military buildup and trying to send people to space and compete with the United States there. And so this caused a lot of problems with their economy, and their growth that they had for a large portion of their history slowed afterwards. And when things start going bad in the economy, people start asking for change, especially those that were not originally part of the Soviet Union. So the Russians obviously started it off with Lenin, but those Eastern European countries were not originally members. They were became a part of it, but they did not have ethnic or historical ties to Russia. And so they were very quick to start getting out, so to speak, of the Soviet Union once things started going poorly. Um, but first, another major cause of the USSR's problems was this terribly unpopular war in Afghanistan. This is another proxy war. We talked about the Korean and Vietnam War. Well, the Afghanistan was the Soviet Union's Vietnam. It was a long, drawn-out war, one that was unpopular back home, one that they did not accomplish their goals in. And the U.S. backed and supplied the other side. So it was, again, a rebel cause that the U.S. was supporting against the Soviet Union because they were fighting against them. Uh, Interestingly, kind of ironically, really, the leader of that rebel group, as you see there, is Osama bin Laden at the time. And he is one of the rebel leaders that we supported, supplied, gave weapons to, information to help defeat the Soviets. That's how committed we were. We knew Osama bin Laden was a terrorist, was not a great guy. However, we still supported him because he was not communist. He was fighting against the Soviet Union, and that was our goal at the time, was to get them to collapse. Basically, we're trying to beat them. And so Osama bin Laden, even though he wasn't a great guy, we supported him. And from 1978 to 1989, the Soviets fought in Afghanistan, did not accomplish their goals of creating a communist, peaceful government there. And they started to withdraw. Mikhail Gorbachev, the premier of the Soviet Union at the time, announced that he'd finally leave Afghanistan, that long, unpopular war. And this set off a chain of events. This was seen as a kind of the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, of the Soviet Union that was already going through some economic trouble. They could not win militarily in Afghanistan. Countries start opting out. All right, you're going to see Hungary, Poland, some other Eastern European nations like Lithuania and Estonia start leading independence movements and wanting to get away from that Soviet Union past. Also, meanwhile, you have East Germans very unhappy. They want to be reunited with West Germany. They hate that Berlin Wall. And in 1989 and 1990, they start tearing it down. Eventually, Mr. Gorbachev is going to be the last Soviet leader there. Right? He's going to step down on Christmas Day in 1991, and the Soviet Union dissolves the next day and becomes independent nations, with Russia, Poland, and others becoming independent. It looks like this. Okay, so Russia becomes independent, and we have all these nations that we've talked about and learned about before, but now they're all new nations. Okay, so the Soviet Union finally collapsed again. Number one, because of the economic problems resulting from spending all that money on the space and arms race with the U.S., and having a lot of other issues like a long unsuccessful war in Afghanistan as well. Interestingly enough, the Soviet Union falls 1 month or so after I was born. Is it a coincidence? I'll let you decide. Anyway, thanks for taking my class. I enjoyed teaching you. I hope you learned something, and I will truly miss you. So we're almost there. Don't give up yet. Got one last exam, one last test, and you can do it.